In a dramatic transformation of the international landscape, longtime U.S. allies are increasingly charting independent paths, signaling what experts call a seismic shift in global power dynamics. Brazil leads this transition, with President Lula da Silva's administration pivoting away from Washington's influence. Brazilian-Russian military cooperation has increased by 45% in 2 years, while trade with BRICS nations now accounts for 30% of international transactions, primarily in Chinese yuan rather than U.S. dollars. This isn't just economic diversification, it's a fundamental realignment, notes Dr. James Morrison, senior fellow at the Atlantic Council. When a major regional power like Brazil shifts its military and trade relationships this dramatically, we're witnessing a historic moment. Saudi Arabia's decision to price oil transactions in Chinese yuan challenges the petrodollar system that has underpinned American financial dominance. This move, combined with deepening Saudi-Chinese partnerships, represents a break from traditional U.S.-Saudi relations. Public sentiment reflects this shift. A Pew Research poll shows favorable views of the U.S. among Brazilians have dropped from 52% in 2020 to 34% today. These developments come amid broader international tensions, including conflicts in the Black Sea region and trade disputes. Countries are increasingly seeking alternative alliances outside Washington's orbit. We're seeing the emergence of a multipolar world, explains Dr. Sarah Chin from Georgetown University. Nations that once aligned with U.S. interests are now pursuing independent foreign policies and forming new partnerships. For the American government, these changes present unprecedented challenges. The question isn't whether global power is shifting, but how quickly these changes will reshape international relations. Stay tuned as we analyze how other powers, including Turkey and India, are repositioning in this new landscape. Breaking news: global power shift accelerates as key U.S. allies pivot east. In a dramatic reshaping of global alliances, Saudi Arabia and Turkey are leading a seismic shift away from traditional Western partnerships, marking what experts call the end of American dominance in key regions. Recent data shows Saudi oil exports to China have reached 2 million barrels per day, while U.S.-bound shipments fell 40% over 5 years. This isn't just about oil, it's about power, money, and a new world order. We're witnessing the biggest realignment since the Cold War, says Dr. James Harrison, senior geopolitical analyst. The Saudis aren't just turning away from Washington, they're running into Beijing's arms. The kingdom's $5 billion defense deal with Russia, signed after Biden froze arms sales over human rights concerns, sends a clear message. Saudi Arabia is done playing by American rules. Their upcoming BRICS membership in 2024 further cements this eastern pivot. Turkey, a NATO member, has defied Washington by purchasing Russian S-400 missile systems in early 2025, despite U.S. warnings. Turkish-Chinese trade now exceeds $50 billion annually, creating an economic shield against Western pressure. A recent Metropol survey reveals that 68% of Turkish citizens now view the United States as a threat to their national security, a stunning reversal for a longtime NATO ally. This isn't just about economics or military hardware, explains Middle East expert Sarah Reynolds. We're seeing a fundamental restructuring of global power dynamics. Countries are no longer willing to accept U.S. dominance as the default setting. South Africa has joined this trend, defying Western sanctions and strengthening ties with China and Russia. As a BRICS member, it's positioning itself as a leader in the Global South rebellion against Western economic control. These developments signal a clear message: the era of unchallenged U.S. global leadership is ending. The question now isn't whether this change is happening, but how fast and how far it will go. In a significant transformation of global alliances, 3 major nations are shifting away from U.S. influence, revealing a new world order emerging by 2025. Let's examine these changes reshaping international relations. South Africa has increased its cooperation with Moscow, with bilateral trade reaching $3.5 billion. Anti-American sentiment has surged across major South African cities, with U.S. favorability falling to 27% according to Ipsos polls. Protests in Cape Town and Johannesburg reflect growing opposition to what many view as American neocolonialism in Africa. Meanwhile, Mexico's relationship with the United States has deteriorated. China has overtaken the U.S. as Mexico's primary trading partner, with trade exceeding $130 billion annually. President López Obrador has denounced U.S. immigration policies as hostile and unacceptable. Mexico has welcomed Russian and Chinese firms to develop its energy infrastructure, marking a pivot away from U.S. influence. Perhaps most notably, India, once a strong U.S. ally, is charting an independent course. Despite Western pressures, India has expanded its relationship with Russia, with bilateral trade reaching $50 billion. A $7 billion defense deal for advanced fighter jets and missile systems underscores this strategic shift. India's defiance of U.S. demands regarding Chinese technology, particularly in 5G, signals its determination to maintain autonomy. The nation's leading role in BRICS and its efforts to create alternatives to Western financial institutions demonstrate its commitment to a multipolar world order. These developments collectively indicate a significant erosion of U.S. global influence, as nations increasingly prioritize independent foreign policy decisions over traditional alliance structures. Global power shift. U.S. allies turn away as new alliances emerge. In a stunning development reshaping the global landscape, traditional U.S. allies are distancing themselves from Washington, while new power blocs emerge to challenge American dominance. Germany, historically one of America's strongest European allies, has seen its relationship with Washington hit rock bottom due to economic disputes. German officials criticize U.S. trade policies, particularly the Inflation Reduction Act, viewing it as protectionist. Germany's push for European military autonomy suggests a reduced NATO role in European security. India, once seen as a crucial U.S. partner in containing China, shows signs of strategic independence. Recent polls show a decline in pro-American sentiment, with favorable views dropping from 55% to 42%. This signals India's growing determination to chart its own diplomatic course. Iran has strengthened its position through a $10 billion arms deal with Moscow. The breakdown of nuclear negotiations in 2025 has heightened tensions, as Tehran continues developing nuclear capabilities and expanding regional influence. Russia has emerged as a direct challenger to U.S. dominance, adapting to Western sanctions by strengthening ties with China and BRICS nations. Moscow's military presence has expanded globally, with partnerships from North Korea to Venezuela. China leads this anti-Western alignment, forming the backbone of a new economic order trading in local currencies rather than dollars. The Beijing-Moscow axis, supported by Iran and emerging powers, represents the most significant challenge to U.S. leadership since the Cold War. These developments point to a multipolar world where U.S. influence faces unprecedented challenges from allies and rivals alike. The question isn't whether American global dominance will diminish, but how quickly this transformation will occur. Welcome back to Global Watch. Today, we're diving deep into a story that's reshaping our world. China's bold moves are challenging American dominance in ways we've never seen before, and it's time we understand what this means for our future. Picture this. For decades, the U.S. dollar has been king in global trade. But China isn't playing by those rules anymore. They're actively pushing their yuan onto the world stage, positioning for a long-term strategy. In the South China Sea, Chinese military vessels are becoming an increasingly common sight. They're setting up control over disputed territories, sending a clear message to Washington. This isn't your backyard anymore. What's truly eye-opening is China's technological leap forward. Remember when made in China meant cheap knockoffs? Those days are gone. They're now leading in artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and 5G technology. They're not just catching up, they're pulling ahead. The partnerships China is forming are equally significant. They're working closely with Russia, Iran, and other major powers, creating a network that bypasses traditional U.S.-led alliances. Their Belt and Road Initiative isn't just about building infrastructure, it's about redrawing the map of global influence. This isn't just another news story, it's a fundamental shift in how the world works. The U.S. is facing a reality check. Its unchallenged global dominance is no longer a given. As more nations align with China's vision, we're watching the emergence of a truly multipolar world. What does this mean for America? For our economy? For our future? These are questions we need to be asking ourselves. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Are you concerned about these changes? How do you think America should respond? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis of global developments. The world is changing, and we're here to help you make sense of it all.